Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm just setting up at the moment, so just bear with me. Okay, I do have my all-purpose mat down, but because it's a little bit shiny, I see that we're getting a bit of reflection, so I think I just might change it out. The all-purpose mat's great for just sort of cleaning up your mess because it can wipe clean, but it's not obviously not great for the camera, so we're just going to have to go to plain, but that's okay. Good morning, Bev. It's a little bit chilly this morning. I think winter's coming. Okay. I don't profess to be amazing at multimedia. I guess for me, good morning, Annie. I guess I'm a little bit OCD in the respect that I like things to look neat rather than messy, but I do like the effect that multimedia does give you. So I guess what I want to do is just sort of show you how to use it, and good morning, Linda. Use it in some way in your scrapbooking or your card making. So because with multimedia it is wet, I've sort of done some prep before, but I will show you how to use it. So we will get on with that. I'm just going to move that all out of the way. So I did put a list of supplies that you would like to or should have handy. It's not do or die, but because multimedia is messy, it just helps with the cleanup. So I will start with the gloss sprays, just so you can see how they work. Obviously they're a spray. Some have little ball bearings in them, because I think they have, because they have the white in the mix, it just helps to shake them up. You can see the white in that one there, but I have found that some don't have it, so I'm not quite sure if it's stuck in there or whatever, but it seemed to come out just fine. Now with these sprays, they are permanent, as in if you get them, or they stain rather, so if you get them on your hands, it's hard to get off. If you spray it on your tabletop, it's hard to get it off. If you spray it on your clothes, I did have a panic moment. I got one drop on my pants, my good pants, so I just dropped everything, and I was able to get it out. It was only the tiniest drop. I used rubbing alcohol to get it off, but it was a little bit of a job to get it out. So if you're playing around with them, wear your old clothes. You know, I didn't think, oh, I'm going to spill this on my pants. It just happened. So yeah, wear your old clothes. So I've got old clothes on at the moment. I wear rubber gloves, just the ones, you know, the cheap ones that you buy from the shops. They come in a box of 20, 50, whatever. It just makes for easy cleanup. I think that's the key, that if you don't have to have a massive cleanup at the end of your crafting, that's a good thing. The other thing that I have is, particularly if I'm using the stencils. So these stencils, and everything's in plastic bags, so I don't know the reflection. Yeah. So this pack of stencils is the stencil pack 3. Just chuck that on the floor, which is this one here. And it comes in a big sheet like these ones here, but I've actually cut them up into little sections. I just find that it's a little bit easier to work rather than a big sheet. So yeah, I've just cut them up into their little sections instead of the big square that way. That's just a tip. That out of the way. So if you're using stencils or anything that you need cleaning because you've used the gloss sprays or the texture sprays, it is just super handy to have a tray of water. It doesn't have to be warm. This is just cold water, and this is just dishwashing liquid. If you know me, you know that I do not like any coffees or teas or liquid in my craft room, because if I can spill it, it gets spilt. But this is just a necessity with the multimedia, the mixed media stuff, because you don't want to have to spray and then you've just sprayed one thing and you're flying out of the room to clean it up, because if you leave it on there, it's going to dry and it's going to be permanent, which is not an issue because you can still use the stencils. They'll just be coloured up in some way. But again, maybe that's the OCD in me, that I like things to be neat and ordered. So the other thing is, grab yourself a box. If you don't have a box, I'm happy to provide you boxes. I have plenty of them. Can't see my camera now. So this is just a close to my heart box that I've got product in. I have taped the flaps. So you've got the flap here. I've just taped the flap up the two sides there and just left the front open, because the spray goes everywhere. And I don't want it on my table, I don't want it on the computer or my phone or anything like that. So it just prevents any accidental spray. I also use washi tape sometimes just to hold the stencils in place. But because it's wet, it's going to take time to dry. And it's a little bit colder today, so it is going to take longer to dry. So I'm just going to spray some stuff just so you can see how it works, and then I'll get to the stuff that I have already done. So we'll just grab a couple of stencils. So if I'm going to do cards, I'm just reading the comments. Hi Janine. It's a bit fuzzy on the computer but not on the phone. Oh, okay. Well, it looks alright this end. It could be because I'm moving a little bit. Now that I've sort of moved the big box out of the way, you should be right, Annie. But all good. Yeah, Linda. I actually saw someone else do it and I thought, what a great idea. So yeah, cut them up. Makes them more easily managed. When I'm making cards, I just cut my mats down to, I do 4 inches by 5 1/4, because often with the cards, I will put a colour mat behind. This is not the right size because this is being cut smaller. So it just allows that edge there, if you get what I mean. If it was a bit bigger. So yeah, the coloured mat that I cut down is actually, that's the coloured size mat, sorry. So that's the size mat that I start with. So I've made this the same size because I can trim it down to whatever size in case I want it to be that mat size. That sounds really complicated, Wendy. Okay. So the thing to remember is it's going to look messy, but that's what mixed media is all about. So stop talking, Wendy, and let's just do some spraying. Now I can't see my screen. I think that should be right. I will move as I see. We might use a different pattern this time. Might go some small dots, I think. So if I wanted to, where'd my washi tape go on the side? Just be careful with your washi tape. I did mention the other night, if it's super sticky, it will peel the cardstock. So if you wipe it a few times, I'm only just going to do one side. And let's do, we might do this colour, which is the Taupe. Okay, I need the gloves on. Okay, I was going to do, just bear with me, I'll just quickly grab something. I still haven't cleaned up my craft room. However, the job list today. Okay, so let's spray this. So I also told you to have baby wipes or paper towels. So I'll explain why the baby wipes in a minute. So you can spray as much or as little as you want. So the nozzles clog up if you don't wipe them. So there's residue there, so if you just give it a bit of a wipe, then you won't have problems next time you use it. So that's what I use the baby wipes for, that. And with this, don't leave. I probably just smudged it a little bit. It's a bit awkward trying to work under the camera. But don't leave this on to dry, otherwise it will stick there. So this goes straight into the soapy water, so that way, just get it under there, that way it's sort of soaking while I can keep going. Okay, so we're just going to pull that and let that dry. Are we safe? Okay, I'm going to work down here. Actually, I'll go up here because I'm going to do something down here. You don't have to use stencils at all. You can use just spraying. So we might do squirt over there, and we might add a bit of yellow there. Whoops, I need to be wiping. Isn't it funny when you do work at home by yourself, you're a little bit more organized, I think. Now you'll notice that the paper is arcing. So if you don't want that, then you can use washi tape to hold your cardstock in place. Again, it's a little bit challenging to lift if you've got it stuck down. You could put like another piece of cardboard in the bottom that you could just lift out and let it dry. The other thing that I use if I don't have a lot of washi tape is this blue tape. It is I think that it's the builders use it for painting. You put it around your windowsills when you paint, and you can just pull it off, painter's tape or whatever it's called. Super cheap at Bunnings or whatever. Yeah, so you can then lift it out, because it is a little bit awkward working in the confines of a box, but you just need it with the spray. So we might put a little bit of... So the more that you use, like the thicker, the glossier it's going to be. Where if it's just a fine coat, it tends to absorb into the cardstock and isn't as shiny. Just checking that I've wiped all my nozzles, which I have. Cool. So I'm going to put those out of the way. And I'm just going to leave it in there, just so it's safe. Oh, that's right, what I was going to show you, sorry. So you can just spray on the size paper that you want. You put your 12 by 12 in there. The other thing that I do is I have little cutouts. You could have them done with your thin cuts, or I've just done these on the Cricut. So it's just white cardstock. And let's just add this one. You will notice that I don't have pink, which I'm a little bit devastated. Every time I've gone to order it, I haven't been able to get it. And then I forgot to order it last time. So it is going to be cheddar. So we're just going to spray these up. So I guess with multimedia, it means that it's not that consistent colouring, which gives you that extra 3D effect as well, which I do like. Okay, so we're going to pop those away, and they can dry to their little merry hearts. Okay, what else can I show you while I still have my gloves on? Okay, we're going to introduce the texture paste. So they come in a pack of 3 little bottles, which is ideal if you don't do a lot of them, but the opaque matte comes in a bigger tub. I tend to use that one probably a little bit more. No reason in particular. I guess I just like the rough texture that it does, but I'm going to show you different ways to do that as well. I'm going to get some scrap paper. Again, it's just for easy cleanup. The other thing that I use, and maybe I'm not very environmentally friendly or lazy, take your pick. Hi Kate, how are you? It's all about the cleanup. I don't want to have to be rushing out of the craft room all the time and cleaning up as I work. I just want to do and then move on. So we've got our white piece of cardstock. We will use this one. Now I've used both, and I'll show you, the gloss sprays to colour up the texture paste as well. So we also sell the palette knives. These are awesome too. Use this one. Okay, so let's go. So they all do different stuff. Let me just put a block here, stop them rolling. So we've got transparent gloss. Obviously you can see through it. There's transparent matte, so it doesn't have a shine to it. And then the opaque matte, which is not shiny and it's white. So we're going to colour it up first. So let's go with the transparent gloss. You don't need a huge amount. So probably that is more than enough. The sun has now come into my craft room, which is beautiful. Okay, so I just wipe it on it's just a lunch bag. So if I move those out of the way, then you know that we're using the transparent gloss. Okay, and then I'm just going to just squirt a little bit onto, I've lost my baby wipe. And then I'm just going to mix it up. So you see what I mean by when I'm finished, I just screw the plastic up and throw it in the bin. Okay, so we might go on the angle and see how you might not be able to see, but there's tiny little blue splatters on the paper. Hence why you use the box. We might go this way. Keep with what I've done. Okay, so you just pop it on. Again, if you want to, I'm just being super quick, but you can use your washi tape to hold the stencil down. So because I've just roughly mixed it, it just gives you that dimension of colour as well. I'm trying to be super quick here. Just enough. Could have probably had a smidge more, but that's okay. So now that goes into my water. Hands. And we don't make mistakes in crafting, so I can cover that with a flower or a sentiment or something like that. So I don't know if you can quite see, but there is a bit of a shine to that. So you don't have to colour it up, you can just use it clear. Put it on coloured cardstock, or you can actually do it on printed paper and it just gives you that extra dimension. So I'll put that aside. Knee. Okay, I'm just going to give my palette knife a wipe. Just get a paper towel. Okay, and because this is still wet, I'm just going to give that a bit of a wipe so we can use it again. So then we've got, I don't think you'll be able to see the difference, but I will show you. Because they all look wet when they go on. Just get a smaller bit of paper. Might just go with some dots. So when this one dries, it will not have a shine to it. I'm not going to colour this one up. Might use a colour actually. You'll be able to see it. Went over the edge again. And you can make it as thick as you want, but obviously the thicker it is, the longer it's going to take to dry. Whenever I've used any of the mixed media, it's been a like a 2-day process. So that's now going to dry, but it won't have the shine. It'll look quite nice if it was shiny too. So I'll put that aside. So yeah, I would spend, you know, a couple of hours just doing different backgrounds and techniques, and then the next day I would use them up. So I'm just putting that back in my soapy water now. Wipe the palette knife. Again, if you leave it to dry on the palette knife, it's very hard to get off. I have done that once, totally forgot, and I've just soaked it in warm or hot soapy water. Okay, the mat. Now, this is probably my favourite that I like. So, where might go? I do like the angle. Just gives a nice effect. So, you don't have to have the gloss sprays to colour up. You can use your ink pads. So what I do is I've got my plastic bag and I'm going to just smoosh that onto my plastic bag, then get my opaque mat. Now these will dry out. If you have not sealed them properly, they will dry out. So I always don't leave them open for very long either. So I just mix it in to how bright I want it. Might make it a bit redder than that. So the palette knife is great because you can scrape it up and just sort of massage it in. And if I don't have enough colour, then I just smush a bit more. So let's run with that. Again, you can use your washi tape to hold it. I'm just trying to be a bit quick. So I'm just sort of holding it down quite firm. Need 3 hands because of that. And with multimedia, it's all about, I think, the imperfections. Probably could have had some more. And I'm going to show you how to do more. So we're not going to use this knife back in, wise we are going to transfer colour. So I just get another knife to get some more out. And I just got to be careful where I squish it because I don't want texture paste on my spin this around. So you can use your oxide inks as well. They do react because it's wet. So you just mix it up to the best colour matches as possible. But again, with multimedia, it's all about different textures and colours. But these are great backgrounds that you can use for, you know, putting flowers and different stamps over the top. Trying to get that corner without getting the rest of the card. I think that's pretty much covered. And I put that straight into the water. I always just rub the top of it a little bit just to get the water soaking through the paste or whatever I've used. And then wipe up my nose. So when you first look at it, you always have to be careful what you've got on your fingers. You think, I don't know if I like it, but it is amazing how it looks when it dries, which I will show you shortly. But I do like that. So we're going to put that aside to dry. And then I'm just going to fold this over. Because I just want to show you one more. And that is that you can do it on coloured. How we did with the, what did we use? The transparent matte. I will post up some of the photos as they dry a bit later on. I'll put them in the sun just so you can see the effect. So we're still using the opaque. So I do use a lot of the opaque. That's why I normally have a bigger container. We might use this one. Yeah, why not go for the corner again? Okay, and because I'm not colouring it up, I don't really need to put it on the plastic. So it just goes straight on. And you don't have to use the stencils either. I have actually used it as snow on some of my cards, because my dad's English and he likes red robins and things like that, so usually I make him cards that have got snow on them. And plus we have snow down here. They did say it was going to snow today, but I haven't seen any snow pictures, so it might just be on the at Cradle Mountain. Oops, gone under. Trying to hurry. So when you're doing things like the snow and things like that, that's where the tip is really good, because you can get fine detail with the tip. I think that might do. Put that out of the way. So then you can, and so that will dry white. So I'll just put that over there, put that in my little soapy water, clean up my mess. My lid on. And so the cleanup for me is that and my rags, and it's all clean. I take my gloves off and I can do other craft now, so I guess that's why I like doing that. Yeah, Linda, I did talk about the multi-purpose mat earlier, but it was I had it down. It actually reflects with all the lighting of the camera, so I had to take it away. But yes, I do love the mat. Okay, so we will just quickly look at what I did earlier. So this is, I might need to pull it up a bit to the camera. So this was the transparent gloss. So I mixed it with the ocean blue. So you can see it does have that shine to it, and because I hadn't washi taped it down, it did bleed a little bit, but that's okay. That's mixed media. These are so I just did different spray techniques, so you can see there is a bit of a sheen to it, and again because with the spray it does bleed under a little bit. This template is quite fluid, I guess, but you know, you don't use these just for, you know, the sprays and the texture pastes. You can use your blending tools, and they work really well with that as well. But yeah, it does give you that sheen, and you can cut them down to whatever size to put them on a card. And like I said, the thicker it is, the more shine that you have. So this is sort of, while there is a little bit of a shine to it, it has absorbed into the cardstock, where over here where it's thicker, it's got that smoother and the glossier look. This is, I had left over, when I mix this, I used too much gloss, and I had lots of leftover, and I thought, oh, I don't want to waste it, and so I just got an extra piece of card and just sort of smushed it on. just for that blotchy effect, which you think, oh, that looks terrible, but we're going to make a card with it and make it look good. I also sprayed the cutouts. So these are the flowers that I prepared earlier. And you can see it I left it on there too long, so it stuck. This is actually sprayed onto the New England ivy, so it shows that you can spray it onto coloured cardstock. It doesn't have to be white, and the more you spray on it, the more colour that you get through, but you get just different effects. So that's all those. And then I just did a couple of these. These are just the I think it's lime colouring. This one here. Because I've got an idea to do with that as well. So that's just a model effect on that. And then these were the just the matte textured paste, and that was just the white onto the Bluebell. And then this is interesting, I used the Bluebell ink and mixed it with that, with the opaque matte. But as it's dried, I've got a beautiful, almost two colour. It all looks like, you know, mint, like a sea glassy type colour. And the Bluebell, I really like that. So it's just, you never know what you're going to get once it's dried. So I'm just going to pop all these things out of the way. And we're going to make a couple of cards. So you will notice, maybe not very well if I hold it up there, that anything, when you wet the cardstock, it's going to warp. So when you stick them to your cards, you will need to adhere them well, otherwise they will lift. You could iron them, but then it may affect the colouring that you've done on them, particularly the gloss sprays and the texture paste. So I probably wouldn't iron them. You can, I have seen some ladies that they cut their cardstock even bigger and they masking tape it all the way around so there's no gap and it's solid, to alleviate some of the warp, but I still feel that it does warp in the middle a little bit, so there's really no way getting around it other than just use lots of adhesive on your cards. So why I did these is, I guess in a way it's a bit like the flowers that are already cut out. You can just spray and then cut. So I'm just going to quickly show you. I think I used the other one. So these are just leaves. Okay, will it? No, because it's warped. I'm going to need some washi tape. Can I get away with just one? Okay, just pop that up there. I think I need to stick it down. Stick it down there. My very loved mat. And let me just set that up there. So it gives you a really good effect of the leaf. Let me see if I can hold that up a little bit higher. It just looks fabulous. I love that effect. So I'll just pop that out of the way. And let's make a couple of cards. So I'm going to start with this one. So we're going to put a mat on it. I tried to be a little bit organised. So I have my measurements written down on my wall here, so I'm not having to think is probably not the right word, but my head just buzzes with information all the time, and it's just like, oh, I just can't remember it. So I just have them written down. So this is the mat that I did. So 4 by 5¼ inches, but I cut these to that as well. So I want to mat it here. So I'm just going to cut this down. And I think I'll go 3 3/4. And we'll make this 5. Now I grew up, I was taught metrics at school, but I find in the crafting world that inches is the way to go. Everyone seems to know what it is. My mother only knows inches, so I'm always just talking inches. I have to look at a ruler to sometimes calculate. So, where's my tape? I'm using the lighter side. The reason I went for the lighter side was that it sort of matched the shade of my flowers, and I just thought that the other side was a little bit dark. So I had pre-thought that through, in case you were wondering. Now with a lot of mixed media, if you see it, now I'm going to add ample. I don't normally do this much when I make a card, but particularly if there is mixed media on it, it definitely needs it. And because it's on scene, I'm going to add a fair bit down the bottom there, because I don't want it lifting. Yeah, so with the mixed media that you see, some people put mixed media on top of mixed media. That's a bit crooked, isn't it? And because I've got lots on it, oh well, we'll just have to live with that. A little bit crooked. That's the only problem when you use lots of tape. Once it's down, but that's okay. So this is where you can, if you don't like that, you can colour it up. I hadn't thought too much through on this process, so just bear with me while I think and ponder. I do find it hard to talk and think at the same time. See, we could even add, see, doesn't that look cool? I do like that. Okay, so we need to cut out some more of those, I think. We could even put it sideways. Okay, we need to cut out, I feel. This is almost like my Thursday class. Thinking on the fly. Okay. So I'm going to cut out a few more of these. that one there. And we'll cut another one of those. Hi Jan, thanks for joining. You have to watch the start to see where we went with all this. And they say, I never know who they is, but they say that you should always have uneven numbers of things. So when you do flowers, uneven. I know I'm doing 6, but I haven't decided if I want a large one or a small one. So we've got the space, so we'll just do 6 and then I can make a decision from there. Okay, let's move that out of the way. Move our picture back. So because my washi tape is not super tacky, it hasn't ripped. So if I wanted to, I could even cut out little leaves or things like that. So that's just a tip for you. Okay. Now I don't think I'll use this one because it's got the darker dots in and I don't want that colour in there. So we've got 5 leaves. I am wondering whether see the brain's just ticking away and I can't talk at the same time. Okay, I think we'll run with that, and I'm going to add a little bit of a sentiment down there. What will we add? How about best wishes on your special day? I think that will just fit nicely there. Don't mind my head. Okay, instead of having to turn my Versamat over, I'm just going to use the sponge that comes with it. Now, if you're ever unsure, oh, how's it going to stamp, I just stamp on some scrap paper to see, how it looks. Oops. Perfect. And I was talking to the lady the other night, about the chamois. Love the chamois. Best thing ever. It never comes perfectly clean. It starts a nice colour blue, but you just wash it. I just run it under the tap, but once it's stained, it doesn't transfer. The only tip is when it dries, don't go and unfold it. Make sure it's 100% wet before you peel it apart. I actually, this is an old ear cleaner box that I keep it in. It has a hole in the bottom just to keep the air flowing, so if it doesn't, so it doesn't go moldy or anything like that. Some other ladies keep it in a Ziploc bag that has a hole in it, just for the air for it to breathe. But certainly they're a great item to have. Okay, so let's just stick this together. My desk is starting to look a little bit messy. So we might use glue dots in this instant, because I don't want the flower to be flat or anything like that. And because it's got that bend, you want it to have a more permanent stick. So yeah, I just stick it on there and it lifts off. So maybe there. And should have rolled those up a little bit more. I like a little bit of texture. The downside with doing 3D on card is if you mail it, Australia Post will charge you because it's thicker. But a lot of our cards, I think we just give them with presents, and well, I do anyway. I don't mail a lot. So I'm just making sure it doesn't go over the edge of the card. Will stick this one on. Just put that upside down for a minute. We might sort of stick that in there. And we'll cover our little blurry spot there. And we better add a little bit of bling to the middle. Seeing what I've got. Silver. Gold. I am thinking that maybe these are probably a little small for what I like, but I would probably cut a small circle and make it a little bit bigger, but we will run with this, I think, just for today. Well, that's a bit off center. Put those aside. So that is using the sprays and the what was it? It was the clear transparent gloss. And changing with a little bit of a colour. So, great effect. And the other one I wanted to show you was the textured matte paste one. And see, these are just cut out on the Cricut. Just showing that it doesn't have to be a coloured flower. It can be matte. You don't have to use that at all. I did think, where did it go? I had a die cut. Yeah, here it is. So I'm going to add a die cut to it. So these are the stitch brackets. I love all our stitch brackets. I think this one is called Fancy Brackets. So I'm going to find a colour that is going to match. Now if you're wondering what I'm digging in, I have bags of all my solid colours. And they're just the scraps, so rather than having to cut into big sheets of cardstock, I can just grab my scraps, and after, I think Lagoon's too bright blue. This is Glacier. That might work, I think. Okay. So we might mat it with that colour and then put, is that going to be too blue? Maybe we need the darker colour on. Okay, well we can play around with that. Let me just clear my mess up. I keep losing stuff. Okay, I'm going to stamp this first. That's not big enough. Let's move this out of the way. And my board's slipping around. Sorry if you're hearing a lot of noise. Trying to work quickly. Tend to overstamp. Perfect. Add a quick wipe. Just going to run this through my machine. Just line it up a little bit. It's all washi tape because I don't want it to move. I'm just going to add just a little bit of washi tape to keep it in place, and then I'm going to go the lighter swivel this around and go the lighter colour there. And that's not going to fit, is it? Probably shaking the camera, sorry about that. So then we have this, and we could add it like that, and then we have a lighter one. No, I think black might work. Let's have a look. Might help if I have a card base. Black's not big enough. So I have the scrap. That looks good. Will it fit this way? Hi Dimity, thanks for joining. I sort of don't want to lose that too much. That's okay. Okay, so I want to cut my mat down to that's 5 1/4. So we're going to go 4 inches. By 5 1/4. And then I'm going to cut this down to 4 and that's 3 3/4. And we'll make this 5. I'm thinking maybe I just like the darker colour behind. A bit of a snug look. Tick, tick, tick. The brain's ticking away. I am thinking if I cut the edge off there. So let me stick this on. And try and line it up a little bit. And then if we cut the end off there, could even cut it a bit more, I think. So the T has disappeared a little bit. Let me just put that back on there. So I'm trying to line up these lines here. So let's get the black on first. I have no idea what time it is. Feels like I've been going longer than an hour, so I apologise if I've gone over an hour, but we will finish on this card. So I just put more where the texture paste was, just to hold it down. Now let's see if I can line it up better this time. Not too bad. Okay. And I did think, where's my twine? I did have one of these prepared earlier. Might add that there. So this looks to me is a great card for a male. We tend to make lots of pretty flowers and stuff like that, but then when we've got to give a card to a man, it's just like, oh, I don't have any men's cards. Okay, so that's actually a foam dot that I've got on there because I was going to use it on a different card. So I'm actually, so when I roll the, let me just show you. So to get an uneven sort of mess of twine, I go through 2 fingers and then add 3. And do it that way, and then when you pull off your fingers, you hold the bit that you've got all together and put it on a dot, and that holds it together, and then you just put another one on the other side, and then you sort of sandwich it together. So I haven't taken the tape off the foam dot at the back, so I'm just working out placement wise. See, I could go right to the edge too. That might work. So we have that up there, I think. So we'll just squash him on there, and I'm going to add some foam dots to the rest. I think I'll just use little ones. Just add a couple more to this side. And we might put a big one in the middle. I love these foam dots. It beats having the length and then cutting the required. Like, that is good for some things, but just for adding embellishments and things like that, I love the dots. And they come in 2 thicknesses. I tend to go for the thin, being a card, just in case I need to mail it. And we might just trim off this stray twine. Okay. And I'm going to go to the edge. And I think I might add a couple of do with my gold gems? Put them somewhere. Okay, and then I'm just going to add a couple of dots. Where will we put it? Put it there. And one there, I think. And there you have it. So it just shows that you don't have to have coloured images. You can have the card looking, even though it's plain and it's just got the sentiment on there, just with the textured paste and the twine. It just adds that dimension, and using foam tape as well. So ladies, I hope you have a go at all the dimensional mixed media that we have, and have a bit of a play, and it just gives you something different in card making. But yeah, certainly it's because it's wet, I don't tend to use a lot of it, because it's not an instant card. You have to allow it to dry. Not the ones that we've done earlier. Let me just grab those. They're probably not totally dry with this weather, but you can see, look, this is even going slightly like an orange tinge, and that's got the nice transparent look. But this is the one that we did on coloured cardstock. So it's matte, and look, it's pretty much dry, but it's just got that, it's almost like dry embossing, but that looks fabulous. I really like that. And this is pretty good. And so that's the one that we sprayed with the 3 different colours. So it's got that gloss on it as well. So you could do that on top of that, you know, have the just a note on it. But so they might look, to start with, that they're messy and things like that, but once you sort of jazz them up with your twine and a bit of bling and your sentiments, they look really good. So I hope you've learnt something. Hope I've encouraged you to have a bit of a play. Oh, just quickly, I will show you. Just turn this over here. So this is what I mean by how they clean up. I don't know if you can move that over in the camera a little bit. So these are the stencils. So I'm just going to get a baby wipe. So you can see that whatever we've been on for an hour, that it's just back to clear, and there's no marks on it. This one's still got a bit of it's gone pink, but it's the red. So that's come nice and clean. And this one was the had this gloss spray on it. So they've just been sitting in there like that. So it's certainly worth having the soapy water there, that you can keep creating and just throwing whatever your stencils or your tools in the soapy water, and it's made for a really easy cleanup. I'll just dry those now with paper towels. So awesome. So thanks ladies, have a good day, and I will see you at 2 o'clock, and it won't be as long. We're going to make a quick shaker card, show you how to make them really easily. So I'll see you at 2. No worries. Thanks, ladies. Bye.